this is Soma79, host of the Articulate Ox podcast. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Our guest today is Leslie Kiszka, creator of stressbaking.com. I have had the pleasure of knowing Leslie for well over a decade. Her and I used to work together in a previous life, and I've always been super impressed with just how hard she works. She's always sort of cranking on different ideas, and she's a very innovative, funny, smart young woman, and I'm so happy to have her on here today. So specifically today, Leslie and I are talking about this project she's been working on for a long time now called stressbaking.com. And stress baking is one of those terms where I think when you hear it, you kind of know, even though it's kind of a newer term, when you hear it, you kind of know what we're talking about. Is essentially you're baking to get rid of stress. Leslie and I have had a lot of talks over the years about mental health and different ways of dealing it, and how your approach really should be tailored to yourself. And I really commend Leslie on how she's been able to take something that really was a stress relief for her and turn it into something she really enjoys and is somewhat profitable for her. And she's a very inspiring person, and she's someone that I'm very grateful to call a friend. And I really enjoyed our conversation here. I'd love to have her back at some point because she's lived a very interesting life, and I just know from personal anecdotes that we've shared each other over the years. She's got a lot of great stories. She's done a lot of cool things in her life that are totally separate from where her and I used to work and from her baking. And I don't know, maybe someday we'll get her back on here to talk about that. But go out and follow Leslie Kiszka at Stress Baking. Go to stressbaking.com, and I'm not going to string this along any further. I will just get right into the interview. So thank you very much, Leslie, for joining us, and I appreciate all of you for checking out another episode. Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to the Articulate Ox podcast. I am Soma79. Our guest today is Leslie Hash. That's how you pronounce your name, right?
That's also my maiden name.
Oh, yes. I was really sweating this morning pronouncing your name right, and I forgot it's not even your last name anymore.
Hasn't been my last name for 3 years. It is now
Holy
Leslie
shit.
Kiszka.
Was the last time I saw your wedding?
Wedding.
You know what? I should have written it down. I guess I should have written it down. How is Bill?
That's wild. That is the first time I've heard somebody say Leslie Hash in a very long time, and that was very good.
I got to update my phone. It's
a little bit,
yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's off to a blistering start. So let's make sure I get the name of your website right. It is Stress Baking. So Leslie, you are a food blogger. It doesn't really. You're a baker, and you have a very successful website where you talk about these recipes that you create, and you've done many great things. And you were here to talk a little bit about Choco Tacos and a little bit about a bunch of other stuff. So Leslie, why don't you introduce yourself to the fine people?
Sure. I feel like these days the term food blogger has like a negative connotation. Everybody goes straight to the memes of like, I just want the recipe kind of crap.
As I was saying it, it felt dirty in my mouth.
But it's not, because that is what it is. But I just say recipe developer because really, like, that's what I'm doing.
You're an RD.
Yeah, like I'm developing unique recipes. They are going on the internet. I do all of the photography, all of the writing, like everything you see is me, with the exception of social media because I'm not a fan, and so I have an assistant that helps with that stuff. But it's all stuff that's like approved by me. I spend a lot of time in the kitchen and then the rest of my time on the computer and putting all of these posts out there. It's all free. The low cost of having some ads on your screen when you're scrolling. But I think I have like 360 recipes now. One of which is the Choco Taco, because I was a little bit devastated in 2022, and they said they were discontinuing it because that's my go-to. So I clearly had to figure out how to make it myself.
I just want to mention one quick thing before you pass. You mentioned the thing about ads. Your website, though there are a couple ads, it is not like the majority of these food blogs I go to that are just frustratingly laid out, where it's like it's designed to make the cooking process that much harder, and it's just in your website is really well laid out and very easy to follow. And recording this right now around Thanksgiving, and I think I said it's going to be between like Valentine's Day and Easter when this probably airs. So hello, future us. But it's you have all your Thanksgiving recipes up there. Some really cool stuff that's very easy to navigate, and got me thinking about passing this off to my baking girlfriend to see what she can come up with. So
Please do. I
yeah,
mean, it's,
kudos.
well, we're recording this. This is the current layout. I am currently going through a redesign that's going to make it even more user friendly, and like rebranding and all of this stuff. And that should be live by the time that this launches. So the hope is that when people are listening to this, it's going to be even easier than it was in 2022. I'm very much about the user experience and less so about the let's see how many ads I can cram on a screen because that annoys me and I don't want to annoy other people. And I don't love answering comments every day that just say it's too many ads.
Yeah.
Like I know so many people do. So I would much rather just provide what people are looking for.
Yeah, it's brave to engage in public discourse in any sort of this thing. I mean, I've realized it's like everybody thinks they want attention till they get that. It's just whenever
They could
I
do
I have a
without public.
policy of that, like the one place you'll never find me is the comment section, and that's sort of like I'm just like good or bad, you know.
Yeah, I try to encourage, like in every way possible, I try to encourage like positive discourse on everything. It's like even on my comments where you go to leave one, it's like always be kind kind of thing, which I realize is very interesting coming from me, the most sarcastic, pessimistic person I know. But it's just such a dumb thing. Like what why do you feel the need to sit there and like crap on somebody else that you don't know who's giving you stuff for free? So
Yeah.
generally speaking, it is like 95% of the comments and stuff are always good. And people like email me pictures of the stuff that they've made because they're so proud of it. Like it's really cute. So the community aspect of that is really nice. But then, you have the few bad eggs that just feel like crapping all over everything just because they're miserable. And I
Right.
have no problem hitting the delete button on those sorts of things.
Well, thing is, like, if you can shit on like cupcakes and like you like, what is really gonna make you happy? Like, I mean,
Well,
like,
I have my prime example is that I have a strawberry shortcake recipe, and the whole idea is like it's from scratch, but it's the fastest way you could do it from scratch, and it's like it's very easy. Anybody can do it. It's nothing crazy. And a guy went on this tirade in my comment section about how people like this isn't a real recipe. My mother used to make it and it was like magic. All she had was flour and water in her kitchen and she managed to make the best strawberry shortcakes I've ever had. And I was like,
maybe it was magic because that would have to be magic.
the comment itself is the most ridiculous thing. And it was funny to watch people just pile on and be like, cool story, bro. So anyway, that happens once in a while and it's entertaining, but it's also like, dude, why?
Right. It's one of those things where it's like you're suddenly nervous that your address may be at the bottom of your email or somewhere on your website. You're just like, oh man.
Thankfully, I've got that all covered.
Yeah, I know. You're like,
Where
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people learning that lesson from Pop Smoke. I mean, not to make like a joke of it, um, but it's funny. I when I was looking at your website, I didn't. The pictures are gorgeous, but it didn't occur to me. Yeah, these aren't things you can just download off Getty Images. You made these things. These are really good photographs. Like you took all these yourself.
I
I
did.
don't mean for it to sound
I
like I'm so surprised. I know you're very talented. I don't want to be like, oh, you took these, but like these are this the colors on this apple strudel one. I'm kind of blown away by. And I'm allergic to apples.
yeah, right. You can't even eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a everything I do is self-taught. Like I didn't go to culinary school. I never took photography classes, anything like that. Like this is all just self-taught, but it's some creativity, it's some science, it's some like luck with the lighting that day, like it's a culmination of a lot of different things coming together in the right way. And the lighting in New England is the hardest thing. And I'm not a big fan of using artificial light, but I will if I have to. And I always find after the fact, I'm like, oh God, I just want to reshoot that on a better day. And, like
Right.
some things you can reshoot another day. It's like you can stick it in the fridge and then do it again. But
When
like
you
the
get
apple
good lighting
strudel,
in New England, you have to shoot now. It's
yeah,
like, and then you have to
to
realize
plan
that
it.
you can't waste it. It's,
Like,
I
I'm
run into that
not
all the time.
saying that I've taken days off of work because I've woken up and been like, oh my God, the light's going to be so good today. Sorry, I'm sick.
I'm
It's
saying
like,
I have done stuff like that.
it's just, I mean, you feel like you have to take advantage, especially this time of year where there's all of like 2.5 hours of daylight.
That
And
qualifies
it's
as a mental
just
health day, as far as I'm concerned. It definitely improves your mental
word.
health, you know. Which
Yeah,
I'm
because
sort of joking about, but I've told like pretty much everybody that's ever worked for me, I'm like, this is what to me a mental health day is. And if you need to take one, you don't even, it's like sick day, same thing. So just
yes,
like understand. I think that's an important lesson for people who have sort of the luxury to do that. Some people don't think in that, mentality. And, we're here talking, you're talking about stress baking here. So, I mean, clearly you find stress relief from baking, and stress relief is mental health, and mental health days are important if you are in a position where you can take them.
yeah, and
So
they look so different for everybody. Like I know
that's a great
people,
point.
their
Yeah.
idea of a mental health day is to literally not get out of bed and just sleep the entire day. And I'm like, good on you.
Yeah.
Like that's your idea of a mental health day. That sounds great for you. I would go nuts. I
Yeah.
couldn't
You
just
know
lay
what's
in bed.
been a big mental health thing for me is the whole working from home thing, because it's like it's sort of it's created a bigger distance between me and my coworkers. And I'm not saying that because I love my coworkers, but like
Right.
I'm sort of an empath and I suck up energy. And I was realizing I was sucking up all the energy of the people I work with the past 25 years instead of the energy of the people who I really choose to have in my life. And that was just when I stopped doing that, my mental health got so much better. And it was like, and then work became a lot more about work. And instead of work becoming what your entire life circles around, it becomes more about actually getting the job done, which is so refreshing.
Yeah, I've been working from home since you and I worked together, like
Yeah.
for many years at this point. And that's my happy place because it's like I set my own boundaries and like I can multitask when I need to and I can take care of things. Like it lowers my stress level considerably to know that, I don't have to wait until I get home at like 7:30 to take care of this, that, and the other. Like I can throw the laundry in now and do this later. And it's not I know a lot of people struggle with like the division in their home, trying to like make sure they've set the boundaries for themselves, like this is my work time and this is my non-work time, and I don't have that problem, so it's very easy for me to be like, okay, cool, work's over, like back to my life now. And I feel very fortunate that I'm able to do that because I think that's why it's such a good fit for me, and I really feel for the people that have struggled the last couple of years trying to do that because it's not that easy
Right.
for them.
Because part of it for me is if my brain is going to work that way, where it's always going to be mingling the two things, having my environment match the way my thought process works isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like even it's certainly about the example about the laundry. It's like, if I can work out and do my laundry and work in the same place, then it's like I don't have to do those things in the very specific order of going to work, then going to the gym, and then doing laundry. Then it's like I used to have to do. I mean, this is like just a stupid example, but that was used to be like what my life would be like, and it's like every
Mhm.
day like that, and then it's just you just get drained of any color in your life, and just having that flexibility to be able to do those things in that order is just I don't know.
Yeah, the monotony of all of it is frankly exhausting to me. Like I have my routines. I'm a very routine and task oriented person, but like knowing every single day, it's like I have to wake up at this exact time to make the boat at this exact time to get to the
Oh yeah,
office
you were taking a
that
yeah, you
time.
were like planes, trains, and automobiles getting from yeah where you were to where you were going.
Yeah, living on peninsula that sticks into the ocean, and then the only option is to take a boat to work, and if you miss it, that sucks.
Yeah, and that's weather permitting, definitely too. I mean,
Too. Yeah,
peninsulas are
there were
not
days
known
it
for
was
their
not an option.
yeah, yeah. Um So in terms of, so let's talk a little bit about the Choco Taco, which, just to cover some ground. And speaking of food allergies, I'm also allergic to nuts. So there wasn't a whole lot of research I could do about this. Though I did read on the Wikipedia page, I do have a semi hot take for somebody who's never had one and never will have one. Though I would be curious to, if when you're going to have a Choco Taco recipe coming soon, probably out by the time this is released. I'm sure I can just, take the nuts out of it and I don't know, drop some M&Ms in or something, or I
It's
don't
not a
know.
bad idea.
I don't know. I have a big problem with mini M&Ms. I think the shell to chocolate ratio is atrocious. And then the
Oh yeah,
big,
no, they're not good.
yeah, maybe sprinkles. I don't know. We'll get the people in the lab on that. But Choco Taco, do you know how old the Choco Taco is?
I do not.
I believe if you, myself, and the Choco Taco were standing in age order, it would go me at the oldest and the Choco Taco, then you. The Choco Taco was born in 1983.
Oh man, I am only 1 year older than a Choco Taco.
Yeah. I mean, the
Oh
Choco
crap.
Taco's been around my entire life, and then, I got 4 years on it. Um, and it was invented in Philadelphia, of all places.
I did know that.
Yeah,
That part I did know.
the people that brought us the cream cheese and Liberty, you know.
Oh, just so many wonderful things related to food.
Yeah, yeah. So really, I do sort of have a love for Philadelphia. I've been doing this thing where I'm getting a leaf tattoo on my arm for every state in the country. Like I'll go there and get the tattoo there. And I started doing it right before COVID. I have 8 of them now, I think. And I'm making a plan to go to Jersey to get one. And then I also get other tattoos on my legs, so it's not just, me totally throwing money out the window. But I think I'm gonna go to Philly next. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. I haven't been there in a couple of years. But
Yeah, I don't think I've been there since, oh God, it's been well over 15 years.
I was there about 4 years ago. I was seeing somebody who we met down there. So,
Nice.
um, in this, uh, this actually this made me think of something that right next to where we used to work together, there was an ice cream factory for years.
What, Unilever?
Um, there's a Good Humor factory, I think, right on Speen Street in Framingham. It was where the gym is now. That was an ice cream factory for
Oh
years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then where I used to live, the Natick Mall there was used to be a Twinkie factory, like that. And it gets mentioned in one of the early Family Guy episodes. They talk about the Twinkie factory in Natick. That was when I was a kid. The whole area smelled like this wonderful smell that came from this Wonder Bread factory. And then they tore it down, built condos, and then I bought one of those condos. But like, I remember I did a painting that I called "The Ghost of Cupcakes Past," where I was watching Poltergeist, and the it was like, oh, it was built on a the house was built in Native American burial ground, that's why it's haunted. So I'm like, well, my house was built on a Twinkie burial ground, so what would it look like if it was haunted? So we did all the Wonder Bread colors with like ghosts of Twinkies and stuff, and actually that's one of the ones I sold. So um but
I totally forgot that that was the Twinkie factory. I remember it was Natick, but I forgot it was literally where you lived.
yeah, so some of our roots go back. And I actually have one more thing that I just thought about from my childhood. I once opened up a box of popsicles when I was a kid, and there was a wool glove inside. There was like
Sorry, what?
a wool glove. It was the pops. There was all the popsicles were there. They did never not get consumed, but slid in between the side inside of the box and the other popsicles was one wool glove, like a brown glove.
Like speaking of allergies, I'm allergic to wool, so I like go in to grab a cherry popsicle and just die. Wool glove
I know,
inside.
and I just was like, I was quite surprised. I mean, it's like in hindsight, if this happened 20 years later, there would have been a full documentary about this, which
Yes, there
to
would.
me
It would
now
be a
feels like a
Netflix
missed
special.
opportunity.
Hulu would be covering it.
Right. If anybody out there knows who has the other wool glove, please reach out to me now at Soma79 on Instagram, possibly Twitter, though that's probably not going to exist pretty soon. Um,
That might not be around by the time this airs.
Yeah. So and that's funny. So what's your relationship with Twitter like? Because I know you've always been really good at social media. I've always asked your advice on things, and I remember seeing you in a dinosaur suit on the news once shoveling snow, and I don't know. talk a little bit about your Twitter experience, social media, stuff like that. We'll get back to the Choco Taco. I have some more Choco Taco thoughts coming, but we're gonna sprinkle it in like the nuts that in the chocolate of the whatever. Go for it. I'm done rambling.
The oh God, social media. I hate it. I
Yeah, it's
really
to be
do.
hated.
Just hate it. With Twitter's especially, it was never a big traffic driver for me for business or anything. So I basically kind of like I kept it around to keep tabs on other things and people. Not so much to use it myself. Like most of the stuff on there is just going to be goofy crap or retweets or whatever. I tried to use it for the blog for a while, but it's just like that's not that audience is not the looking for unique recipe audience. Um, so I have it, but it's not the kind of thing like if Twitter does go down tonight, like if Titanic
Which
sinks,
it might.
which it really looks like it might, and you know, I'm in my full-time job is in the tech space, so I have people that are connections through Twitter. They have now all been fired through all of these things, but it's like they still have the hooks in and they know what's going on, so they've been keeping us updated. And it doesn't look good. So if the Titanic sinks tonight, being Titanic being Twitter, and my account goes away, it's like I don't really care.
Yeah.
But it is unfortunate that something that, you know, could have been good, and could have been used in the right way and managed in the right way would be going under. But I I don't know. With social media, man, I don't care. And I should care. That's not a thing I should say is like I'm trying to promote my business and get people to engage with me and all that. Like that's why I hired a virtual assistant because like I appreciate you saying I'm good at it, but I know it's not that I'm good at it, it's that I know where my strength lies and it's not really with that.
This is very
Because
important.
I don't I'm not a bubbly person, and people that are looking to like get food recipes and stuff, like they want somebody who's bubbly and enthusiastic and that kind of thing. And this not me. So when I do it myself, everything is like, you know, just very deadpan and sarcastic. And like the people that get it and like
Right.
it. But I don't translate well to social media. As
Well, the
a
thing is too,
human.
it's there are these different cooking shows where you could watch and enjoy them, whatever, baking something, where the personality is really almost more important because the majority of the people are never going to eat the product. When you're actually talking about recipes, the product is really the most important thing, and that's the experience somebody wants to have. You know, it's
And
there's
I have friends who have cooking shows and go on cooking shows, and like a good friend of mine has won several competitions and stuff. And then I've got a girlfriend who's gone on shows and she used to work for Martha Stewart. And now I help her test her own recipes for her cookbooks. Like one of them just came out. And, you know, it's like a wild world, but they love that kind of stuff. Like they love being on camera and they are like adorable people. And so it's like it's their happy place. The idea of doing that to me, I would rather be like I would rather
needles
somebody
in the
poured
eyes.
hot me because I want nothing to do with being on a TV show.
Oh, I watch those shows, and I do find a little comfort in watching them. My girlfriend enjoys them, so they're on a bunch. And but like I get the enjoyment out of ripping into these people. Like they like
Uh-huh.
during COVID, they had this show on I forget what network it is, but it was like those house hunter shows, but they had like John Mulaney and Seth Rogen, just like it was like comedians on couches, and it was like Whitney Cummings and them just like ripping into these people. And I'm like, I connect with this so much because I do find the comfort in watching them, but I'm just like, you fake ass motherfuckers. I'm just like, I'm
I
like,
do not
you
translate well for
people.
that.
I'm
Like
like,
I
I
could
just look at these people in a barn eating this thing. I'm like, I know who you voted for. Like, like,
I couldn't because I am so self-deprecating and like
yeah.
naturally just talk like a trucker. Like I'm just not I would not do well on TV. Like I would have to be so censored and edited. It would be so boring. And I would be ripping into myself. Like I cannot imagine what other people would do. It would be Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Might be onto
Like I
something.
would do it myself. Like just I couldn't take it seriously, and those people do take it seriously.
Imagine if you did a show where you did one where you did it like as you would do on that, and then you had yourself like Deadpooling it, just like ripping. It'd be like, who is this bitch?
I would. I
Like,
have to break the fourth wall. There's just no way. I couldn't do it seriously.
yeah, sorry to keep coughing in your ear. Allergies. I'm gonna cut that out. But yeah, like that would actually be really funny. I think might be onto something there.
I've got a friend who he swears he's going to start another site and it's going to be him doing a terrible job of making all of my recipes. Um, he's like, I will find a way to mess it up. It doesn't matter how easy it is. I will find a way to mess it up. And he's like, so I should just document myself doing all of it terribly. And I was like, I mean, that doesn't make me look great.
I would
It'd
say
be
that's
funny.
not, they say no press is bad press, but that's like kind of a current string of bad press. Like, yeah, don't, this isn't as easy as it looks, you know?
Yeah, I'm trying to go for anybody can do this kind of vibe, not
Right.
you can screw up boiling water. That's not really what I'm looking for.
So so that's something that's interesting that I like to talk to artists about is that sort of anybody can do this attitude. That, and I run into that a lot with my art where like I I sort of feel like people are like, oh, you're talented. And like I always strive away from that work. So I'm like, oh, I just chose something and I worked hard at it and I got good at it. I don't think it's like talent in a way that it's like I was like blessed with anything. But like and I'm like, well, anybody could learn how to draw like this if they just tried. And then I think about like how hard I tried to learn how to sing and how poorly that went. And I'm like, oh no, I it's like that's definitely not true. And it's like I think visual arts are on like, equal footing as music, or at least in the same ballpark, so it's somewhat comparable. But do you feel that baking is something that anybody can learn, or do you think there is sort of an innate ability? Because when I was watching some of these shows like Chopped, and they're just throwing these ridiculous ingredients at them that I'm having to Google. It's like I feel like there has to be something innate there going on to understand something on a higher level. It's something you learn or something you're born with.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of people that can just get things thrown at them and like make amazing dishes, like I do not have, it's not a part of my DNA. But like these are also classically trained people that have studied all of these ingredients and all that. But the thing that like for them, that is art to me. Like that right there is art, and that is not a
And
capability I
science too, I would say.
well, so what I was gonna say is that for me, baking is a science. Like it's scientific reactions to things. So like this ingredient interacts with this one in a certain way. And I, that's my so I'm building off of the base of the scientific facts of things and how all those ingredients play together. But then like, decorating a cupcake kind of thing, like sure, that's some creativity or whatever. But like I make fun of myself. I can't decorate Christmas cookies to save my life. It's terrible. So I purposely make them bad because I cannot make the picture perfect Martha Stewart magazine cover looking snowmen. Like I just can't do it. But I will make a hell of a cookie to be like it's delicious, but it looks terrible. So
Though
I
I
have
will say you
blueberries.
made those ones for that movie, the Lewis Black Rice Krispie treats for that the movie, the Pixar movie. Did you do it for Target or something? Um,
Yeah, it was
those looked amazing. I was like, I didn't even want to eat that thing. It looked so. I was like, and I'm a huge Lewis Black fan. I remember, and it tasted fucking great.
yeah, that was in
Inside, how old are
Inside
we?
Out.
I think so. The one where they were all on the head, with
Yeah, that's terrible.
Where Richard Kind made me cry, like with his
Oh my God, where Richard Kind made everybody cry.
yeah.
And I love that movie. The fact that yeah, Inside Out. Yeah, they had done a campaign, and it's unfortunately it's not on the blog or anything. It was through them, but yeah, it was a partnership with Disney, Pixar, whatever Disney, I guess at that point, and Target, and I did Rice Krispie treats that were, I mean, like little squares. And if you've seen Inside Out, you're gonna get it. If not, Google it because the visual will be better. The character, the Lewis Black character you're talking about is Anger, and he's just like this little red square and he's constantly mad, so he's got like flames shooting out of his head. So I just did little Rice Krispie treats that
It's
I
like
had
evil SpongeBob to some
yeah,
degree, or as
exactly,
a
yeah, it's like
visual.
shaped like
Maybe
SpongeBob.
evil's probably too, but like rageful SpongeBob.
Right, extremely angry SpongeBob. And I just dyed them red and I put like little angry looking googly eyes on them and like a little bit of icing to make an angry mouth kind of thing, and like done deal. And that was a hit that went really well on social media.
Yeah.
But it's like I can do goofy stuff like that. I can't do like a three-tiered beautiful cake. Like the cake itself will be delicious, but decorating it, I just go for like bare minimum effort because that is not my forte.
I can kind of relate to that too, because like I consider myself an approximate artist, not an exact artist. And it's like, to get something, if you're gonna make like 10 cookies and you got to get a few things right each time, that is more of a mathematical process. But if you got to keep this pattern going consistently across this cake in a circle, I'm just like, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, my brain don't work that way. Like,
No, and I mean, it stresses me out. Like I've got, and that's the other thing about my site is that I don't try to make everything. I call it Pinterest perfect. Like it, I don't try to do that because I can't, and it's not realistic. Because I feel like every time somebody goes to a recipe and they're like, oh my God, it's gorgeous, and then it doesn't turn out that way, they're like, well, this is a bummer. It doesn't look anything like that. It's like, of course it doesn't,
right.
because they spent God knows how much time getting it to look that way. So I try not to pose things so much that it looks unattainable.
You
Like
don't want an
I have
unrealistic beauty standard for your food. Like,
exactly, and
yeah.
I mean I have like a freaking delicious ice cream cake, and
Oh, now you're talking my language.
yeah, no, it's so good, man. Neapolitan ice cream cake, and but I made it like a Dairy Queen kind of thing, so it's got like little crunchy layers of it's
This
there's
is
no
the
no
so
problem.
quick ice cream cake aside. I have two good ice cream cake stories actually. Sorry. Can I tell you my two quick ice cream cake stories? All right. So my one of my friends up here for my birthday last year got me an ice cream cake, and on it she had inscribed a quote from me that said, "We need some ice cream on top of this ice cream cake." So that's what my ice cream cake said. And then my other better story is I was buying an ice cream cake a few years ago for a woman I was dating, and it was only right down the street from my house, and I was kind of annoyed that day. And there was a guy in front of me that was driving me annoying, and I kind of got around him, and I was so done with that. But I was going a little too fast, and he turned the lights on. There was a cop, and he pulled me over. And I was like, oh man. And he's like, what's going on? I'm like, dude, I got an ice cream cake here for my girlfriend's birthday. I got to get home before it melts. And he's like, all right, man, all good. And I was just like, I've been driving with an ice cream cake on my passenger side ever since.
Pro
So
tip, always have the container that looks like an ice cream cake in your
yeah,
car.
so give it a shot, man. Give it a shot. So he got
Not
it.
the worst idea. No, God,
But
ice cream
so yeah,
cakes
so
are
back
so
to the ice cream cake recipe. I just love ice cream cake.
yeah, it's so good. But
It is so
it's
good.
one of those things where if you were to Google it's a Neapolitan ice cream cake essentially. So if you were to Google that, you're going to see all these people that have made these gorgeous cakes that have absolutely perfect even layers, and it's like just picture perfect. And mine, I let everything mesh together and it's like kind of swirly and whatever because it doesn't matter. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't matter. And it tastes good. That's what matters. And like throw a little bit of like frosting on top and decorate it a little bit, but not, I don't go nuts with that because who cares?
Right.
I don't care. I just want to eat it. So my priority is that it tastes good and that the results you are going to get are going to be consistent with mine, not whether or not it's going to win an award for looking good, because I don't care.
Yeah. All right, can you explain to me why my cookie idea that I tried to get you to make many years ago that never happened, why it's a bad idea? Because in my head this sounds amazing, and I bet it's going to be disgusting. But white chocolate candy corn cookies, and I probably like this is something that I feel like I need to taste at some point. But why is that a terrible idea? Answer that however you see fit. Answer that
First of all,
scientifically. Answer that emotionally. I don't care.
just all of candy corn is gross.
Okay, that's a stance you can take.
That's terrible. No, but that kind of comes down to how those materials, how those ingredients will not play together well in the baking process. Like you could throw those things together on top of something, but you don't want to bake anything that has candy corn in it because it's gonna like melt and turn into like a weird plastic.
That would doesn't it
It's gonna
start as
be
a weird
terrible.
plastic?
Like it's gonna be It's gonna be really bad. It's
Well,
just gonna be really bad.
beauty's in the art of the beholder, I guess. I don't know.
There's there are some things that you can put in, like cookies or something that will hold up to the baking process, and they've been designed that way. Like I'm very partial to using chopped chocolate baking bars in cookies and not chocolate chips, because chocolate chips have been manufactured in such a way that they won't just melt. And so they kind of like hold their shape, and that's what people are going for. I want mine to kind of turn into like puddles of chocolate in my cookies. So
Yeah.
I usually do that. Sometimes I'll do a mix. But I like having them kind of melt in. And something like candy corn, which I don't even know what they're made of, and I don't want to
No,
know.
no one knows.
Who knows?
They came down in the
They
same meteor as like Red Bull and like nerds, you know.
Twinkies.
Yeah.
They're indestructible. But it's like waxy, and it's gonna be
Oh,
bad.
say that slower and sexier.
I am not gonna do it.
I do still love candy corns. Like, I
Oh,
mean, but they're ridiculous. They're a food like Cheez-It, where like there's literally there's like a toxic limit, and it's less than one bag or box. Like, where literally you're not going to be the same for a while. But it's, I don't know.
no, so I would
Maturity
never
is
make.
being able to eat only a few Cheez-Its and a few candy corns for me. That's
You can bring this cookie idea up to me every 10 years as much as you want. I'm
all right.
still never gonna make them.
God damn. You know what though? Now that I'm living with someone who likes to bake, I might have to see
Make
that.
her
What if it's like a chocolate cookie though? But the thing is, so white chocolate in general, I know every mentioned white chocolate. And as I've gotten older, I'm not as big of a fan of it as I used to be. I like dark chocolate a lot more now, but
Mhm.
I just don't picture that with the candy corn for whatever reason. White chocolate isn't really chocolate, is it? Is that just the real man? Is that like just an American cheese version of like, I don't know. What is that? Like, I know I could Google this, but like I just as I've gotten older, and sometimes like you'll get like someone will get me like wheat edibles, and they're like made with white chocolate. I'm like, yeah, this is not like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I've grown out of this.
It's it just it white chocolate doesn't have cocoa solids in it, which that's what you find in like dark chocolate, milk chocolate, whatever. Um, but believe it's still called white chocolate because it's got um cocoa butter. Like it has a cocoa element to it. It just doesn't have the solids. So technically it is not actually chocolate. There was somebody we used to work with who anytime I brought something in uh that had white chocolate anywhere near it, he got so upset.
I
He
know
just
the
had
type.
like
Yeah,
an absolute death wish against white
you
chocolate.
have to
I was like,
remind me
man,
who that
calm
is when
down.
we're off air because I'd be curious. I just those personalities, but yeah, people have very strong feelings about white chocolate and candy corns. But
Yeah, and I have a strong opinion about candy corn. But
yeah,
white chocolate I like. Like it's one of those things where I don't try to treat it like it actually is chocolate. I
that's
just
probably yeah.
treat it as what it is.
Yeah, yeah. You also, though, you did acquiesce once. I believe you have strong feelings about key lime pie that are opposite to
Well,
my strong feelings of loving key lime pie. And you brought some key lime pie, I think, mini key lime pies to a dinner party at my house once.
Friendsgiving.
Yes, it was Friendsgiving, where
Yeah.
there was a magician there, and I interviewed him in one of these episodes. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
talk a little bit about that. That guy's hilarious. His story is pretty great too. But yeah, those were so good.
It's on the site. If y'all like key lime
Yeah,
pie, I got a recipe. I am told it's the best thing anybody's ever eaten. I can't do it.
you gotta
There's
find
just
that.
something, I don't even know what it is. I love lime. But something about key lime, there's a texture thing. I don't know what it is. I have never been able to handle, I can't handle key lime pie, but I also can't handle banana things. And I also
Yeah,
have
I'm with
what
you
is
on that.
apparently known as the best banana bread on the internet. Like it's the top ranking whatever for years now, and like everyone loves it.
Well,
And
your recipe?
yeah,
Oh, really? I gotta check that out.
yeah, like it was in the New York Times last year.
You had a banana bread recipe in the New York Times, and you don't like banana bread? This is like a hot story. Holy shit.
Recipes that like I don't eat it, but I get other people to taste test these things for me. And as long as everybody else says it's good, then I'm like, all right, fantastic. I just don't like I hate pumpkin. Hate pumpkin.
See,
I will not eat anything with pumpkin in it. And people love
I used
pumpkin.
to go to Trader Joe's and get pumpkin bread and make it, and they'd bake that, and then they'd have pumpkin ice cream, and I have that on top of it. These are in days when I wasn't working, when I wasn't as health conscious. But yeah, I'm very pro pumpkin. And you know what's funny? My favorite candy corns, the pumpkin shaped ones.
Those I can eat like two of them, and then like I'm all set for a couple years.
Yeah.
But of course, they have
Right.
nothing to actually do with pumpkin.
No,
But
they don't.
I just can't. Well, somebody else, totally different person that we used to work with one day, he came in on my birthday and he wanted to do something nice for me. And he brought a pumpkin muffin from Starbucks that had like cheesecake filling or something. And I'm not a huge cheesecake person either, but it was like my worst nightmare in a muffin.
That's
And
like a food homework assignment. It's like,
I felt so bad because he was like so excited that he remembered my birthday and he was, like, happy birthday, this is a great thing. I was like, oh my God, it's great. And he like sat down with his breakfast and like clearly wanted me to start eating mine. And I was
oh
like,
my God.
oh no. I just put it up. I don't think I ever told him.
That is why work from home is, and you know what, in my head, I bet I know who that is. But
It's somebody who shared the same birthday.
uh I'm impressed that you think that I can pull that together.
It came up every year. Well, not the same birthday, day after. It came up every year at softball.
Uh, what
Yeah,
celebrities you share the same birthday as? I have some weird
I don't
ones.
know.
Really. I
What
just
was
remember mine's Saddam Hussein, Jay Leno, who once called my house as a kid to talk to my dad. It was very strange. And
Aw.
the one that I really like is Kim Gordon from Thurston Moore. No, that's the wrong Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth. So that's the wrong way to say it. Kim Gordon from Sonic Youth.
Well, let's see. I just did a very fast Google search here. So I've got, what is this? I don't understand. 1700. Jason Sudeikis. Okay. Jada Pinkett Smith. Okay. Frankie Avalon. Sure.
It's a weird array of people.
James Marsden. Oh, I like
Huh?
him.
Cyclops?
Yeah, he's on my brain right now because the premiere of the third season of Dead to Me just came out last night, and he's in that, and I love that show. So
You've
that's
been
where my
watching
brain goes.
Westworld? He was on Westworld, wasn't he?
Yeah, I watched the first season, and then I tried to
Same
watch the
with
second season. It just
same
got
with
way
me.
too weird, and I never
Yeah,
went back.
yeah. And that, I think it's ending.
Yeah,
The first
and
season
I
was pretty cool though. And I'm sure there were
it
good moments
was
after it, but I don't know why it lost me, but it did.
it because it got too
Up its own
weird,
ass?
huh?
Up its own ass, maybe?
Yeah, like it was just I don't know. It was like almost like an Inception thing that was like
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
You know
not.
what's funny about I didn't see the what was the movie that Christopher Nolan put out, Tenet. I didn't see
uh,
that, but I did notice that now that it's being released on cable, I think the ad campaigns are drastically different. Like it looks like a totally different movie now. If you see ads for it now, and I'm like, oh, they definitely realized they had a marketing problem with that movie. So
Yeah, my husband's watched it a couple times, which was the same thing with Inception for
yeah,
him. Like watch it a couple times and be like, oh, okay, all right, okay, now I get it, kind of thing. A little bit of a thinker.
it takes
But
a
I
few
still
times to know whether that's a good movie in your own head, I think, because you're just like, okay, well, obviously there was like dazzling me with stuff, but I didn't have time to figure what was going on over here, if anything at all.
all I cared about was Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom Hardy's interactions because it was the most
Yeah,
precious thing in
yeah.
the film.
Yes, there was a lot of fun stuff in that movie. I almost don't really care whether I'm not a huge Christopher Nolan fan. I almost don't really care if it all adds up sometimes. Though there are some stuff about those Batman movies that I will complain about to my grave. But
Or
yeah. You know what though? Speaking of which, one of the big things I complain about, R.I.P. Kevin Conroy. That was really sad.
oh,
That was the Batman.
that broke my heart.
And that he was the nerd's pick for everyone for favorite Batman. I gotta say, he was often one of my favorite Batman. And if you don't think that voicing a Batman is a real acting performance, look at how hard people like Christian Bale, who's a great actor, made it look in those movies. Because if he was able to do channel Kevin Conroy for those performances, I think those movies would have been that much better.
Yeah, well, you figure like Kevin Conroy's worshipped by Mark Hamill. Like if you're worshipped by
Mhm.
Mark Hamill, you're doing okay.
Yep. Mark Hamill
And
played the Joker opposite him for all those years.
yeah, it's just oh God, yeah, that one was sad, and he's so young. It was
Yeah, he
just
was 66 years old. It was cancer related, was it not?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Um, he
and
just he was wonderful.
yep. And if you ever, it's like whenever someone like him passes away and you don't really know who he is, the best thing to do is Google Kevin Smith and that person's name, and you will get probably a half-hour long, tearful, emotional video from Kevin Smith explaining exactly why this guy should mean something to you. I mean, there's a lot of people in comics who don't get the credit they're due, and when they pass, I always find he's the one that puts things in perspective, and he in like he means a lot to these people, and he's always a good person to look to for why they're important. So
Yeah, that's true. That's really true. I kind of forget that he does have that connection to so many people,
yeah,
and
yeah. And
it
I
is
was talking about
ugh,
Kevin the other day. So
warms my cold black heart.
I know, yeah. And you know what though, I'll say too, it kind of overshadowed for me, and I hate to, even compare things, but Gallagher's passing the other day, back to food a little bit. Gallagher was big for me when I was a kid. That was one of the first comedians I was introduced to. And say what you will, I still think that stuff, holds up, and I think it's really funny and it's really creative. And I know he famously walked out of Mark Maron's podcast interview, and but
He
you
is a
know,
human, not so great in the end,
right,
but like
right.
for what he did, I got to see him do his show live once,
Really? What
and
was that like?
that was wild. That was wild.
Were you in the splash zone?
I was.
Yeah. If you don't know
It was
Gallagher, his thing was he would hit watermelons with sledgehammers.
yeah,
And it's as simple and as complicated as that,
and it was. I mean, this tells you
among
something
other
about.
things, but that was his grand finale. Yeah, he wasn't
I
just
would
that,
say
but
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
it's like one of those things where
He was a
you knew it was
thinking man's
coming.
carrot top, I think.
Oh God, Carrot Top.
Yeah.
Yeah, it like we went for a trip, school trip, no less.
Oh, I thought you meant acid trip.
No, no, no,
I'm
school
just
trip
kidding.
of all things. It was in Chicago, and it was one of those deals where like we were guaranteed to be in the splash zone sort of thing, and everybody was just waiting for it. Just a bunch of eager kids, like, yeah, hit me with a
Wait a minute, you
watermelon.
went on a school trip to see Gallagher?
Oh,
Wow.
I know.
That's
This
awesome.
is what happens when you go to
Not
an art
you're in
school.
Chicago, not the Oprah Winfrey show. You're going to see Gallagher,
Yeah, we also did that too.
not Second
But it,
City.
yeah, well, we also did that too.
Oh,
The,
wow.
the lots of good
Went to
things in
Great
Chicago.
Leaford High
But
School.
yeah, when you go to an art
We had
school, there
donkey
were like
basketball in our high school.
sure. We did, man, one of the best things they ever did was bring um the Harlem Globetrotters to
I
our
was
high
about to say,
school.
I think they did that too. Yeah,
That was
that's
the
fun. Yeah, that stuff's
the
artistry.
absolute
It's
best.
crazy.
Yeah, I think of the stuff we did in school field trips, and like we had some pretty rad ones like that. Like I know Blue Man Group is still a thing now, but like that was it in the
Yeah.
day. It was so good. I wish I still did field trips as an adult.
I know. But though that is the thing about like working from home is that it does feel like there is more time to kind of do those things. Like I was mentioning going to get tattoos. It's like, I take a Friday off. I go to, Jersey one day, go to Philly the next day, and it's like I'm back and I've driven maybe like I don't know 10 hours and it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like kind of reclaiming my life a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
Eating a
It's I mean
hoagie
it's
or a
important.
grinder instead of a sub, you know.
Oh my God.
I don't know. So I'm gonna swing back to the Choco Taco for a second because I have the Wikipedia page up here, and this is where I'm gonna get I'm gonna call it a cold take because we're talking Choco Tacos here. But it talks about how in other countries in 1998, it was in Italy, it was released under the name Winter Taco, which perhaps that translates into something a little jazzier. But as somebody who's never had a Choco Taco, think I always sort of believed that people liked them because they liked saying it. Um, but once you change it to winter taco, not winter taco, like opposite of loser taco, which is I think it loses some of its zippiness. So to me, that almost speaks to the Choco Taco must be pretty good if it can succeed without its zippy name. Thoughts on the matter as somebody who has had a Choco Taco?
I I love Choco Tacos so much. It's just like so you've got all right. going to break it down. So you've got a waffle cone, the tortilla, as it were, is a waffle cone. So
Now,
very
is it
thin.
chewy or crispy? Because I know
So
sometimes with the drumsticks, people like one or the other.
yeah, so that's the thing is that it can't be too crispy because then it's just gonna like explode and there's gonna be things
Right.
everywhere. So it does need to be a little bit chewy. And that's the thing I really like about my recipe is that it's it's chewy enough, but it's also crispy enough. And the thing that helps that is that the you can either do the whole shell or just the top of it. I think just the top of it is the way they manufacture the actual Choco Taco, but they dip it in chocolate. So the chocolate kind of like keeps the waffle cone crispier, and you've got it filled with hot fudge. I'm so hungry.
I
It's
know
filled with hot fudge,
it's
and
10:30 in the
then
morning, and I'm
it is
just like,
10:30 in the morning, and I'm like about to call out to work to go make a Choco Taco.
yeah,
But the traditional recipe is then the hot fudge, the vanilla ice cream, more hot fudge, and then you kind of like turn it upside down or whatever, dip it in the chocolate shell that'll harden, and then you top it with nuts, which obviously you would just omit.
yeah.
Um, but the thing with making it yourself is that you could do literally whatever. Like you could use different kinds of ice cream, you could not do hot fudge and you could do caramel or something, and then you can top it with a crap load of sprinkles, like whatever the hell you want to do. And you just after you've let them set and you've got them in the freezer, you can just wrap each one of them in saran wrap or like whatever, and you have a whole bunch of Choco Tacos just waiting for you, and it's the best thing.
Wow. And how long
Yeah.
do you think that it takes to pull that all together?
Um, it doesn't take that long. Like the actual preparation doesn't take that long, but it is you have to wait for everything to set. So you go in and I have you do need to have like either a waffle cone maker, which is not the same as a waffle iron. Either waffle cone maker or well, yeah, you need to have that. And you make the shells and then you kind of like prop them up in something or hang them over the edge of like a baking rack is what I do, like a wire rack. So they've got the like C shape. Um, and you let them set. And that doesn't take that long, like 10 minutes. They're usually good to go. But then you need to have some like softened ice cream so you can scoop it and kind of like squish it down inside the taco. That doesn't take very long. Um, and then you melting the chocolate and dipping it in chocolate. That doesn't take very long. Really, it's just all of the waiting after the fact for everything to set so that you can eat it.
Here's a question I have about ice cream as an ice cream aficionado. Any tips on how to get ice cream at the right temperature? Because like freezer, like how do you store, like are you somebody who will microwave ice cream for a short period of time? I've experienced that with people.
Oh God, no. So either if you have 5 minutes of self-restraint, just letting it sit out at room
What if you
temperature.
don't?
If you don't, like me, what I actually do is I run my spoon under hot water, and then the spoon is warmed up enough that it kind of cuts into the ice cream easier, and it sort of heats it up around it so that it's softer when you dig in.
Now I'm somebody who was fired from only one job, and it was working at Ben and Jerry's, and I was 19. So I guess people shouldn't be too surprised. I should ask that question. Anywho's, I think we'd be remiss if we didn't touch a little bit back on the mental health aspect of this too, because the that's definitely very important to talk about, and something we've talked a lot about that over the course of our relationship. It's something
Mhm.
we both take very seriously, and so the name of the site is Stress Baking, and it's essentially that your stress release is baking. And can you talk a little bit about how you arrived at that, and just where that came from for you?
Uh, I mean, it was all basically an accident. I was going through a tough time and I had insomnia. I just couldn't sleep. So I was waking up at 2 a.m. and just making like 2 dozen cupcakes out of just stress, just to have something to do because I don't like being lazy. Like I like being a productive member of
Mhm.
society. So even if it is just making a bunch of cupcakes that I can bring into my office the next day, I'm doing something productive. I'm not just laying on the couch like wishing I
Yeah.
could sleep.
I have
So I
that too,
started,
where it's like I don't want to play video games because I'm gonna push a bunch of buttons. I want something to show for it, like a song.
yeah,
It's like so
yeah,
it's a way to make your that time you're trying to fill up a little more productive and maybe gain a little more confidence in yourself.
exactly. So it's like I'm, refining skills and I'm learning stuff at the same time. So it's, it was a productive
Yeah.
activity. And then my dad just wanted to see what I was doing. And so at the time, I think it was Blogger. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Blogger. I just got a free domain or whatever. So it was probably like Leslie Hush at that point at Blogger or something. And I was throwing the pictures up that were, I mean, terrible, just like little cell phone in the dark pictures,
On
throwing
an
them up
iPhone
there.
3 or something.
Oh God, not even. I think at that point I still had flip phone before
Ah,
flip phones came back now and are cool again.
look
Um,
like an Atari.
I, yeah, I mean, it was real bad. And I was just writing up whatever the recipe was that I made and sending the link to my dad and being like, whatever. He was never going to make any of this. He just wanted to see what I was doing because he, at the time, lived 1,000 miles away from me. So it was just a way of, connecting with him. And then it started to just pick up traffic after a while. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then the stuff I was bringing into the office, people were asking, oh, I'd love to make these for something. Could you send me the recipe? And I'm like, oh, I've got it on the site. I'll just send you the link. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And at some point, uh, somebody who was in the public eye, who at the time was very popular and not problematic, and is now extremely problematic, so I'm not going to get into who they are. They found my Jack and Coke cupcake recipe and posted it on their social media.
Donald
And
Trump
it,
did what?
no,
No, I'm kidding.
no,
I'm kidding. I'm
less
kidding.
problematic than that.
Yeah, okay.
Um, but she posted it on social media and it just went viral and I started getting a crap load of traffic and took my site down because I wasn't prepared for any of
Wow.
that. It just had a free site. And then I decided I needed to up with my hosting game. And then I bought the domain stress baking because somebody made a joke that like, oh, what'd you stress bake last night? It's like, oh, that's kind of got a ring to it. And here we are today. I
All right.
got an ad company that wanted to help me monetize, and I get sponsorships with companies like Bob's Red Mill and
Oh, really? I
Nestle.
love Bob's Red Mill, and they have a lot of great
Yeah,
products. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it snowballed into like an actual business, and now it's an LLC, and it's turned into a bigger deal than I ever thought it was going to be, which is a nice surprise.
Now, do you think to your success, do you attribute this mostly to the quality of the recipes? Like, you're also I've worked with you. You're pretty savvy in general. You know how to talk to people. I mean that all in a positive way. I don't mean it to be like yeah, like three card money or anything. But like, what do you really? Because there's a lot of people doing things at home that don't get the traction that I've consistently seen you make. To
Yeah.
what do you attribute that traction, or is it part of it just dumb luck?
Some of it is dumb luck. Some of it is that the Google search engine optimization gods have smiled upon me one day and I've shown up in Google Discover for something. But it really is partially luck and partially doing a lot of work and knowing when certain things are trending and doing keyword research and like there's a lot more that goes into it on the back end than anybody realizes. Like I have to make sure that I'm using certain sets of keywords in certain ways in the post to make sure that Google picks it up. And like you brought up like the apple strudel recipe, that has gone bananas this year and well before fall it took off for some reason. So then because it was trending, then it was showing up in more things as trending. And people were like, why is it trending? And they would click on it. And then they would, I'd like try to make sure that I've got enough backlinks in my own site that I'm linking to other internal content. And so then they start surfing around and they find something else. And then you've got a loyal reader that signs up for the email newsletter. Like there's this whole journey that people take and it's a lot of work to get to that point.
Your TikTok game is on point too. Um,
God, I don't even use that for the blog.
But yeah, but that's funny because I see you on there. You don't even follow me back, so I'm pretty pissed about that. But my TikTok game is very low key. But so one thing that I find is with reels and stuff now that you'll post, and by you I mean me and us, whatever. I'll post something where I'll get like 10,000 views on a reel, and the next day it'll be like four.
Uh-huh.
Um, no, I know that's definitely, a little bit of like almost like a lottery system, it feels like. And like, do you feel that as you've been doing this more and more, and I know you say you outsource some of your social media, do you feel like you get better instincts to get more consistent results on that? Or is that something that even if you outsource, you can still get that? Or is it still more like a
I guarantee that if I got some Gen Z person to do that for me, it would probably do great. They probably know things that I'm never going to figure out. I feel like I'm just way too old for this stuff. I don't get it. I just don't get it. And it's
well, let's say you're not when the way you come across in your TikTok, you don't come across as too old. And I think you come across very well. And so I wouldn't say that like, and I know you're saying from a learning perspective, but like
yeah,
you
I
you're
don't
there, you know.
like the kids are doing, like these dances and they're
Oh, who's got energy for that?
I don't, yeah, I don't have the energy to like figure out what's trending and like
Yeah.
I just can't be bothered. So I really just if I find something that I think is funny, I'll do a lip sync video to it or something. But like I'm just not, I don't have the energy for all that. So if there was some like, hey, if anybody's watching that's a Gen Z person that wants to work for a very low rate and do TikTok for me for my blog, let me know
Actually,
because
if you
I
want to go
can't.
halves, let's reach out.
If you want to do two very different things on TikTok
Yes,
accounts,
yeah,
because I can't. And the thing that's so hard is that every course and everything that I take now, because I do try to learn about as much as I can so I can do some of it, but I can't keep up with it. I can't just can't. I would rather go lay down and take a nap
yeah.
than try to figure out how to figure out social media,
Well, let me ask you this. So, is
especially.
there any, so in terms of maybe like, say there's a Star Wars movie coming out and you want to make some R2D2 cookies, which the more I think about, the more excited I'm getting about the
I have
cookies.
Baby Yoda cookies.
Oh, yeah, hey, look at that.
Grogu, excuse me.
Yeah, Grogu. Yeah. Is that something? Because I've definitely found that when I've been able to tie some of my art into some pre-existing IP, do you find that that gives you a spike? And if it is true, is that a spike that actually does anything for you in the long run, or is it just like a little momentary, like, oh, I made this happen?
Mm, It's 50-50. Like it's sometimes it gives you the temporary spike and it's enough to get a little bit of viral traffic that like catches on with the larger audience. Sometimes it falls completely flat, and then other times it comes back from time and time again. Like you of course brought up my ridiculous inflatable dinosaur video that I filmed for my coworkers in a blizzard that got caught on to news stations and such later that evening.
Yeah.
It's the
People
stupidest thing in the world.
that didn't know you that I knew would send it to me because it was funny. I'm like, I know that person. I know that dinosaur.
People have sent it like this. I mean, that was God, 6 years ago or something. I don't even know.
I bet it was even
And
longer than that because it was definitely. I think we were still working together, weren't we?
no, I was at the first house here
Okay.
on the
Oh yeah,
campus.
you're right. You're right. Yep. Yep.
So let's say like 6 years. I have people that send this to me today because they know I like dinosaurs and stuff. Like we incorporated dinosaurs into our wedding
Nick
in a
eating
very
its own
classy
tail.
way. They send it to me and they're like, "Oh, I thought you'd find this really funny." And I'm like, "Hey, that's me."
Yes. Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
But like that's the sort of thing, like there was no intention for that to be viewed by anybody except the like 15 people in my office. I just had to upload it to YouTube because it was such a big file. And now every single year when the weather starts to get to winter, it starts trending again. And I start seeing myself as GIFs on the internet. It's ridiculous. It's
Yeah.
just ridiculous.
That
So I feel like
reminds
the whole thing is a crapshoot.
that reminds me of the other person we know that had something similar that happened. Give Zombie the Vote
Yes.
singer, who is a heavy metal singer that we both know that was they had a video of him singing his song to his cat, whose I believe his name was Bill Murray, I think
Bill
it
Murray,
was.
RIP. He
Oh,
died
R.I.P.
last
to
year.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
And that landed him on the Tonight Show, I think.
Sure did.
Yeah,
And
and
got like the actual Bill Murray's attention.
yeah. So that was pretty wild. That was through he was on the front page of Reddit.
Yeah.
It is
It's
wild. There is something, you shoot your shot and sometimes it
mhm.
lands.
Yeah, and I find if I do it intentionally, it never works. So
Right.
basically, if I'm just acting like a dumbass,
Yeah.
apparently things will happen. So that's also why I don't bother to try to be super cool.
Right,
It's not
right. It's
gonna
like
work.
being super cool takes a lot of like effort and maintenance and lighting, and it's like it's better off rolling the dice on being yourself, I think, it
I mean,
seems
I'm
like.
sitting here talking to you with still wet hair and a shirt that literally it just says no. Like I
Yeah.
this is my personality.
To me, yeah. I'm wearing my Collective Society hoodie that was given to me by my man who runs this site. Check out Collective Society Instagram. They have some cool stuff coming. So I don't want to just say more of it and get something wrong, but since we're doing the fashion shoot. I don't know how much more time you have left. Are you
I actually have I have to do a work thing in 15 minutes.
All right, so let's want to wrap up in the next few minutes here. Let's see if there's anything else here on the Choco Taco. There is talk of it coming back, and I will say, they talk about it in the next few years as if they have like no control over it, as if they're like searching for like how come I can't think of the Wakandan metal right now? Vibranium, as if they have to like find
Uranium?
more vibranium to like make the Choco Taco. But then again, I'm reading this off Wikipedia, so for all I know, you wrote this 20 minutes ago. But I do trust in Klondike. I'm a big Klondike bar fan. And let's say I've been flirting with veganism off and on in my life. I eat fish now. I don't eat other sorts of animal products, and I'm trying to get off dairy completely. But it's people like the miracle makers at Klondike that make that so difficult. It becomes an emotional battle that I have, morally speaking. But that's
I
talking.
will never be able to give up ice cream. It's just not going to happen.
That's the toughest one. Though it
Yeah.
probably is going to add so much more years to my life in more in pure calories by giving it up. But they are talking the Choco Taco may come back. So yeah.
In the meantime, my recipe can tide people over because that's what I'm doing because I just can't. Well, you mentioned TikTok. I had made a video a few months before they announced that they were making it go away. And just by chance, and it was like I had just put this video out and it was just me being an idiot. And I was like, I am too stressed out to deal with life. I'm gonna go to the store and get a Choco Taco. And I just like pull it out in the car and start eating it. And then they announced that they were discontinuing the Choco Taco, and all of a sudden that video took off. Like it's nothing. The video serves absolutely no purpose. But that went off because they announced they were retiring my favorite food.
It is wild. I mean, that's just like, and that's why I'd say don't get discouraged. I mean, that's one of the lessons that we talk about. I've talked with a lot of guests here is that it's just about not giving up because what happens is if you pick anything like what you're doing or what I'm doing, if you the longer you do it, as long as you take it is halfway seriously, you're going to get better at it. And then there's less, and then along the way, more and more people just give up. And yes, more and more people start doing it, but you already have a head start on them. So it ends up being like a pyramid where it's like just outlasting people means a lot. We are living longer. Our digital footprints are more marketable now. It's like, like I'm betting somebody will look up the Target thing, the Inside Out thing based on us talking about it here, and that'll could regain some I guess an example.
Yeah.
It's like so just sticking it out and just having it be something you're passionate about, you can get there. You can make this more reality than a dream, because
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends that do this professionally. They make more money than I do with my full-time tech job, just doing recipe development and stuff, and they're doing cookbooks and all this. And I mean, it's amazing. And I hope I can get to that point. But if not, this is a really great hobby that's given me a decent amount of passive income. And like I enjoy it, and that's what matters to
And
me.
you get to have fun conversations with people. Like it's always great to have somebody that you once admired that was just out in the ether, they're doing stuff, and then it's like you get to actually work with them, and they get to,
Yeah.
and like that stuff that's like it's tough to put like a dollar figure on. It's like I think to
Mhm.
people like you and I, it's validating to do those things. It's
It's
like
validating, and it's just like I'm very much a I will take experiences over gifts sort of thing, and like that's an experience that I get to hang on to, and that's pretty cool for me.
I did give you that Deadpool behind you though, right? I'm glad you like that.
This thing has been a staple in my office ever since you gave it to me. Was this a wedding present?
That I think that was a housewarming gift. That was remember the wedding present. I think the wedding card was the one I
I
drew
still have
for
that
you.
too.
Yeah. I think that's a knife holder, isn't it? That Deadpool. I remember that's a
Yeah.
bootleg because that came through a very that had a very clunky travel path on its way to getting to you. Yeah.
My kitchen, it doesn't really go with the
Yeah,
decor
I
of
don't
the
blame you.
kitchen.
I think that is a
Um,
perfect place for it is behind a television because it's funny
well,
every time you see it, but it's not in the way.
yeah, I've got all kinds of Deadpool crap in here,
I wouldn't
actually.
know
Like
what that's like.
a lot. Like I have a cross stitch that's on a table over here that says "Always be yourself unless you can be Deadpool."
Yeah. Excited for Deadpool 3 with
my God,
Hugh
so
Jackman?
excited.
Yeah, the Music Man
You know, they haven't
himself.
even like started filming, and I'm so excited.
Do you think now? I know we got to go in a minute, so let's just talk quickly about this. Do you think we're gonna get a full movie with Hugh Jackman? You think he's gonna get an old Wolverine shape, or you think it's gonna be just written around whatever he wants to do?
He's already said, not in relation to Deadpool specifically, but he's already said that he can't get back into Wolverine shape.
Yeah.
So
Nor should he be. We expect him to.
no, not at all. And especially because like he's doing Broadway shows and stuff. Like if he got super jacked, it'd be really weird.
And also, I'll mention too, when I was a kid, I never thought it's Wolverine as being ripped. The first time they were going to do Wolverine, the rumor was Danny DeVito was going to play him. So that was like, Wolverine does not have to be,
No. So I
the
don't know if
sex
they're gonna
symbol
do with
of the
it.
of
Yeah.
like the X-Men.
No. I'm gonna be excited. No, whatever the role is, like it's gonna be good no
Yeah.
matter what. And they just said that, I think it was leaked information or whatever, but that Owen Wilson's gonna make an appearance as Mobius from Loki. Like it's
Oh,
just
is he?
I'm just yeah,
That's exciting. Oh man.
I like I'm just gonna be amped no matter what it is. I don't even care.
Yeah. Did you see Wakanda Forever?
Not yet.
I was beautiful, beautiful movie. And it's like, give I reached out to my friend John, who's on here from Screen Rant, after, and I was like, if I don't think I've ever seen a better performance in a superhero movie than Angela Bassett in
Nope.
that movie. She was just, I give her, if you're ever going to give someone an award for an MCU movie, yeah, she give it to her.
I'm hoping I get to see it soon.
Yeah, it's well worth it. And it's 2 hours and 41 minutes, which I was like, that's a little rough. But like I was in it the entire way and you know, it was great. So
So
I
that
mean
one.
it's like I always feel like it's a hot take that like, oh yeah, the Black Panther movie is great. It's like even at their worst, they're still great, but I don't know.
Word.
Then there's Eternals, but
We don't need to talk about the Eternals.
yeah, I did love Kin in that movie though.
Yeah, I know he's
His
great.
partner there. Yeah. You know what I
He,
always
he
think as being really a really funny moment in Shang-Chi is the bus fight, which I think the same guy in that is the guy on those ads now with bigger stars. I forget what ad it is with Sarah Silverman. I think it's the same guy. I'm not sure, but
I don't know.
I love that scene.
No, that was such a good scene. I watched that probably more often than I should admit.
That's a great movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it sort of gets overlooked a little bit. I mean, I still loving all of them. I mean, what
yeah.
have you been watching the TV shows?
Oh yeah, all of them.
Yeah, which one do you think? What are your favorites?
WandaVision
Yeah,
and Loki. But I also like,
I loved Hawkeye.
yeah, see all like then I go down the path and I'm like, okay, but also this one, but also this one, but also
Yeah.
Captain America, but also
Right. It's like, and
but
it's just,
WandaVision and Loki are the ones that I've rewatched the most.
yeah,
But
yeah,
Moon Knight was like, I want to give Oscar Isaac all of the awards.
I know. I feel like I could watch all of those again for the first time too,
Yeah,
which
I wait long enough in between that I've like kind of forgotten some of the details, and then I go back and watch it again, and that's so good.
I know you know what's great is a Werewolf by Night special. Did you watch that?
That, you know what? I haven't.
Oh,
That is
it's
one thing I've
great.
not seen.
I gotta watch it again. I want to watch it with my girlfriend. And I know we're getting the Guardians of the Galaxy one soon. I don't know what the next TV show is, but
Uh,
I usually
yeah, I
do.
don't know either. But the Guardians Christmas thing we're gonna watch this weekend.
Oh, is that out that's out this soon?
EXO.
Oh, it might be out now then. Oh shit. Yay. It's definitely out people listen to this. And the Ant-Man and the Wasp is probably coming out around the time this comes out, so I can't wait.
Oh God, I forgot that. Oh
The
my God,
trailer
I'm
for
so
that before Wakanda Forever was awesome. So
Oh, good. Okay, that's right. That's what the movie it comes out in. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I'm that's the thing I'm most excited about right now.
So, all
I
right,
love
I'll
me
let
some
you
Marvel.
go because I know you got head to some other place, and I want to give you a few minutes to get settled and stuff. But it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you. And I don't know, Leslie, give you your social media and stuff like that. And we'll put it. It'll be under your face here and stuff, but just for people who only.
Yeah, the thing that matters the most is just stressbaking.com and social media. You're going to find everything at the handle at stressbaking.
All right, easy enough. Leslie, it's been
Yep.
a pleasure. And maybe if this thing keeps going, we'll have you on at some point to talk about something else tasty.
Oh yeah, man.
All right, talk to you later. Bye.